on dannypin.net.
It should be smooth sailing from here, but thanks, JG. He always messages me with how I'm sounding, so he's sort of like I suppose he's kind of like a producer that way.
He's your sound man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say to Blast Mask, first of all, thank you for all your artwork that you send in, because I really appreciate that. But also to your mate Jono, happy birthday. If your mate's listening as well, happy birthday, Jono. And while I'm on that, thank you also to Waterboxer for doing your regular artwork. It's very much appreciated. But Iestyn's one of our crew from Wales and always out there in the audience every week. And it's good to have you on, and you've got a very good playlist, which I'm looking forward to getting through. So this is going to be another good one.
Yes. Well, basically, we've got the first one. Do you want to kick off?
Yeah, may as well kick it off. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know it's a Saturday night in Australia, but this is how I used to pretty much kick off my weekend. Me and the boys in the van, going out, whether we were, drugged up or about to be. Either way, our evening started with this, and it's a pretty cool tune. It's from Bad Motorfinger, Soundgarden,
Awesome.
Rusty Cage.
Let's hear it. It's a beautiful way to start it out there with a bit of Soundgarden. I don't think we've had Soundgarden before. That was an awesome album too.
Super Unknown was a special one, but then again, it came out at a bit of a weird time for me. So it's full of songs that just remind me of bad things, but at the same time, I love it. So it's like, what can you do? That's music, right?
Well, there's nothing like music to just take you straight to a time in your life, just immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that was another classic, Super Unknown with Black Hole Sun was another track off that.
Oh yeah, the creepy video to that.
Did they make much after that? Because I know Chris Cornell did a live album, and then of course they did Audio Slave, which I didn't really get into that much.
No, I kind of it was a bit poppy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of those bands. It like when you get two really good bands together, like them and Rage, you sort of end up with something that's not quite as good as either, generally speaking. It was still good.
Yeah, that's right. It was Rage, wasn't it? I bought the album, but I mean, I only really enjoyed the tune that they put out as a single, and then there was about one on two more.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was really disappointed.
It's sort of a little bit manufactured. I don't know. It's not like Travelling Wilbury, who just sort of happened just accidentally. Yeah. This next track's a bit of a departure from the first one. It's another bloke I love, but I love getting things mixing it up. This bloke had some great tracks.
Oh yeah, I mean, what was it, between the sort of 70 and the early 80s?
Yeah,
he was cracking out some classics.
Actually, I just wanted to ask: have you seen? There's a doco about him, because he turned his back on the music business because it's the old story. You get sort of disillusioned with it. But there's a Bill Withers documentary.
No, I haven't actually seen it, no, but I did. I saw something about it about literally 2 weeks ago. So it's strange bringing it up. He's always the reason why I like him, I think, is he was around during that period where I was absorbing the music my parents were listening to. I mean, I had everything from a Hendrix to an ABBA, obviously, to Bill Withers, and Bob Dylan constantly, which I think listening to his lyrics always gave me a bit of a tongue-in-cheek sort of way of looking at politics, let's say, or world events.
Yeah. Well, he's someone with a very interesting
Talking
journey.
about world events, we were talking about something earlier. As soon as I mentioned George Bush, we got cut off.
Oh.
What's going on, Danny?
Well, Fizz Button Radio is getting so big that the feds and the CIA and the FBI, they're all starting to listen in. Because we say FBR and they think we're saying FBI. So
Yeah. All right. So, Bill Withers. Yes. Sorry, mate.
you're right.
I'm. Yeah. There's a bit of chaos going on. Never mind. Okay, chaos stopped. Yeah, Bill Withers. This song, I have like an incredibly ingrained memory. It's nothing big, but I remember as a kid, and it was the first time I think Mum had put it on that I'd really taken notice of it, I guess. And part of the lyric in it just sort of sunk perfectly because we were traveling. I was just waking up in the back seat. I don't know how old I was, so I must have been very young. And it was absolutely smashing down. It was a storm. And as we turned the corner, you get a sort of the mountain range sort of disappear, and you got a nice flat view ahead of you. And boom, the sun came out. You got when you get sunbeams coming through.
Yeah.
It went from that to a full sunny day in like moments, or seemed to, while this track pumped out. It just
Wow.
it was kismet, I suppose. It was just perfectly framed, that little moment, and it stuck in my head from when I was about thinking about it when my mother was teaching key fit. I must have been, when did it come out? I must have been about 3 years old.
Gee.
Yeah.
Isn't it incredible that something like that can stick in your mind?
I know. I remember the smell of the car, everything.
Wow. Smells are another thing that can bring back a memory.
Oh, yeah.
Songs and certain smells, and you just bang straight back in there. But something that's seemingly insignificant can stick in your mind forever.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even a great moment in time. It was, or a life-changing thing. It was just that little moment and the right soundtrack.
Yeah. Well, let's have it.
I think we should.
Here we go. We've got Bill Withers now with Lovely Day. And thanks, everyone.
Then hang on.
Yep.
I hope you all got either cans on or decent speakers.
Yes. Have a listen to this. Here we go. Fizz Button Radio, DannyPin.net. Thanks for listening.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love.
What an excitable gentleman that was. Now on with the show. Fizz Button Radio with Danny Pin.
Let's fire up, because this next one of my favourite artists of all time, I'd have to say. I've seen him live a couple of times, and but people didn't seem to like it because they wanted to hear the old Bob Dylan, like they wanted to hear it how it was in the album. He doesn't seem to play it that way anymore. He just it seems like it not until he starts singing you know what the song is. He's been playing the same stuff for so long, so, but I liked it. I still love him.
Exactly. I mean, this next track is with Dylan again. Another one, like I said, that my dad used to play an awful lot. All the albums, but this isn't one that I can think of a particular album. But it's you guys were talking last week, yeah?
Yeah.
Was it Biff?
I think he might have got a mention there. We got a bit waffly last week. I mean, I raved on a little bit last week. Got a bit political. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Oh, cool.
But, there's with this guy here. I don't know if anyone's heard of the John Birch Society. No doubt they have if they're American. but basically they were the OG conspiracy theorists.
Oh, right.
Essentially, Republican.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But, yeah, and they had the same things, pretty much a lot of the same things you hear now, only it was all down to the commies. I'm a big fan of, we call it conspiracy theories, or they're called conspiracy theories, but at the end of the day, what is a conspiracy?
Yeah. Well,
It's just
I love conspiracy theories, partly because I think a lot of them have a lot of truth to them. But even if they're just outlandish and not have no basis at all, it's still fun. But I was thinking about, like, if you go back to, say, Julius Caesar, I bet it would have been considered a conspiracy theory that he was assassinated by, that the actual story would have been considered a conspiracy theory. But then years later, that would have become fact.
becomes history. That's right.
Yeah. And it just happens again and again and again. It's just that the places and the fashions change, just the people change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean the Iraq War, for example. I mean that whole thing of why we went in there, weapons of mass destruction. Well, that was as we know now, a whole massive lie. But that was talked of as if that was 100% truth, 100% fact. And then they tried to keep that going as long as possible, and then use the classic line, bad intelligence. Which Team America was just hilarious.
Team America was actually really poignant.
It's spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is superb. I mean, they're great. Full stop. The South Park boys.
They got another good documentary on them. I think it's called 6 Days to Air or 3 Days to Air, or however long it takes from concept to air date is less than a week, so they can keep it topical.
Yeah, it has to be, really, because they're always current, right?
Yeah, which is incredible.
And I guess their style of animation suits getting it done quickly.
Yeah. Just got a couple of quick other shout outs. I got Ookie Spooky, who's Tammy for you to NV.
Oh yeah. Blue eyes.
We got Dina Dog, Waterboxer, of course, who as usual has sent in another. I'll just retweet that. Another excellent little bit of artwork. Lady J, who's awesome.
Yes, most certainly. How are we, my lady?
It just really does feel like everyone's in here with us, and so weird, but I love it. Oh, and Leon Vega Suarez, home from work and listening. So we've got a nice little neat crew, and I just want to say quickly, they're all fantastic, and I feel very privileged to have everyone along.
They picked up my life quite a lot. I think, being in a chair and all. I've got my social circle and everything, but it was Twitter was always something that I didn't think would suit me at all. I never really liked Facebook, and that always just seemed like a way to reawaken friendships from the past. Facebook always seemed to be with me anyway.
Yeah.
But Twitter, I seem to personally, I prefer to sit on Twitter, talking to you guys than most of the people on Facebook. Those little bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to really think about what you're putting in them, or otherwise, it comes on the fly. But it's usually from the heart, right?
Oh yeah. You just can't fake it. Or you will for a little while, but people will pick up little things. You just pick it up. I don't know what it is, but maybe it is because you're just limited to those 140 characters.
Very likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it is. It's you get those little pieces, and you can only say so much in them. And if you can get across something, with any sort of, it doesn't have to have meaning at any time, But sometimes you can see someone's either put too much thought into something.
Yeah.
Or it's just half-assed and mean.
Oh yeah.
And then when it gets mean, it just seems like sort of, well, why did you come on here then?
Yeah. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. John Lennon had a good line in a song called Julia from the White Album, and it was half of what I say is meaningless, but I say it just to reach you. So those little inane things that you say to each other, it might be meaningless, but it's a vehicle through which you communicate. And through those little bits make a big bit. And before you know it, you're just good mates with so many cool people.
I really didn't expect that I could be. I didn't think it was possible. I always sort of saw that as an alien thing, to be able to, make friends with someone without actually speaking or actually seeing them. I found that whole sort of concept odd until I got on Twitter.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And so for you, I guess it is a great way to communicate with people. If you can find in some way, it is a good, like even my situation, this is a way for me to socialize, which seems odd, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the same. Yeah, I mean, I could be out as social as I want. I mean, it strikes me that a lot of people seem to be on there a lot, but obviously they've got a lot going on in their lives. Yeah, they're doing a lot.
Yeah.
But there are other people that you see, and it's like, well, they must be on there all day, right? Yeah. It seems like it anyway, and they're just putting out loads and loads. But with me, basically, if I've got a great circle of friends, I can get out if I want, get out and about. But this circle or this group of friends on Twitter, I like it. It's a nice mix. I never thought that just when I get up in the morning that excuse me. Complete strangers could make me smile.
It's magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know it's coming from like we just said, I know it's coming from a sincere place. And like in anyone's life, when you're dealing with people that you have no choice, it's just circumstance that you associate with most of the people in your life. Work, getting to work. They're just not necessarily people you've chosen. And to have a device in your pocket, you use your mobile phone and you can communicate with all these wonderful people through this sort of natural selection. You've just chosen the best people out there that just suit you, and they can just cheer you up in this little tiny communication.
Oh yeah. I mean, Steve, my friend Steve, he really didn't sort of like the idea of Twitter. He kind of, very typical, no doubt it's been said before, but twatter. Or twattering. He didn't get it. He gets it now. He's not exactly on there non-stop, but
he gets what it's about.
Gets it. Yeah. Finally he gets it.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him,
converted,
branching out as well. Yeah, you're right about how you end up with friends just out of circumstance. With this, I don't know whether I chose or whether I just sort of drifted into this whole thing. I'm not sure. I don't know how I did it.
An access.
How to find you lot?
Yeah, I don't know how I found you all, but I'm glad I did. I got sucked into it like a vortex.
Yeah.
Without any plan or anything. But okay, so back to this Bob Dylan song. Are there any particular conspiracy theories that you think are sort of your main go-to ones?
My favorite ones.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little sort of murky now, but obviously 9/11 seemed a little hicky. I'm not going to even pretend to know that or say that I know what went on there. But there was stickiness, and Bush and his lot were involved in, and around that time. So I mean that just reeks. But that I can call it a conspiracy theory, but a lot of it is just truth.
Yeah. And we're back, everyone. We're back. Sorry about that break in transmission. That's what I've been sort of dreading ever since I got Fizz Button started, because I've got a very, very cheap and old computer. And my heart just sunk when everything just started disappearing off my screen. But it seems like from what people are telling me that it looks like that part of it's been saved. So so from here on, yeah, I think so anyway. So if you've just joined us, we've got Iestyn with us. We'll just pick up from where we left off. So how's it going, Iestyn? Sorry about that.
It's going good.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
Yes. There's a lot of people out there shouting conspiracy.
Hello.
So I think the NSA are onto us. At least they're listening anyway. That's what I always thought with everyone being paranoid about the NSA listening into their podcast and that. That's just one more listener. So, like,
one more.
Yeah, like it's several more. So, in the words of Dan Aykroyd from the Blues Brothers, I'd also like to welcome all the representatives of the Illinois law enforcement community who chose to be with us at this time. There's still some things that make us all the same. You, me, them, everybody. So.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone out there, Jason G, Waterboxer, Cleo, Leon, everyone out there who's let me know that things were going awry. We're back. So
Hey. I see Cleo's joined us.
Yeah. Cleo's in the Jesus.
Hello, my little Nedernutter. The Nedernutter.
I think on Cleo's podcast is the first time I heard you, so
yeah, that was my first time. I think we had a few gremlins on. There's a few gremlins on my my podcast with her as well.
Right.
I think we lost half of it as well. So maybe I'm just bad juju. So.
That's it's all about to end now. We're just gonna power on through. But we just got to try and stay on air. So let me know if anything else goes wrong. But apart from that, let's try and pick up where we left off. And
shall endeavour.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt people were waiting for something more interesting. No, I'm afraid not.
What could be more interesting than this? Exactly. And Waterbox is in fine form. I don't know how he does it, but you just say something quickly and he's got a meme happening. So he's very quick with the buzzer. And Dina Dog just added to my John Lennon quote before, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. So that is definitely true. So the highs and lows of this broadcast game, it's all part of the game, isn't it? So we're back. We're just talking about Bob Dylan anyway, apart from all the conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, maybe we should leave that alone.
Yeah, maybe we should just let Bob Dylan talk about it. They won't shut him down. Here we go. Thanks for coming back. We'll try and stay on the air. You're on Fizz Button Radio, DannyPin.net with Iestyn.
Well, I was feeling low down and blue. I didn't know what in the world I was going to do. Them communists, they were coming around. They were in the air. They were all over the ground. They wouldn't give me no peace.
On DannyPin.net. Bit of Bob Dylan there with Talking John Birch Paranoid Blues. Oh, sorry, Talking John Birch Society Blues. I've just got paranoid on the brain after getting shut down by the NSA. But I hope we're coming through loud and clear, everyone. Sandman just sent in this great, it looks like a picture on his wall of the cover of Nashville Skyline. I'm pretty sure that's the cover of Nashville Skyline, where he's got his hat. He's holding the guitar and had his hat. I'll just retweet that. He just said tip of the hat from my wall to your pics. So he's a big fan of that. Yeah, I love getting these tweets. It's great. Confirmation that we're on air. So
yeah.
So we're back in business, and we're just talking at some point about Napster. I just saw a documentary got downloaded about Napster and how it gives the band exposure. And you just bought something after Stan's show, didn't you?
Yeah, it was Deadbolt.
See, there you
Deadbolt,
go.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a bit of exposure, even though my show's on a very much smaller level than Napster. But
it is an exposure.
Yeah.
They got a little crazy on that one. I think, obviously they see now that the revolution in terms of, the way music has gone digital is something good. But they're still slamming costs on them, of course. But then again, if you're going to be putting out your original work, yeah, you need to get paid for it as an artist, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't do it. But I don't know. Some people got a little precious, I thought.
For sure. You got to play the long game, like have a long-term view and think, well, I'm taking a hit now, but in the long term, I could have it all.
How many more listeners is that going to bring you? That's right.
Yeah, yeah. And it happened, the revolution occurred with music, and I think Steve Jobs pretty much jumped in there, and for better or worse, Steve Jobs was a visionary and he brought everything together in iTunes, but it hasn't really happened yet with TV and film. It kind of is starting to, but they're very reluctant to let go of the reins.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of great independent stuff out there on the internet in terms of film or short films as well. A lot of those they're free any big screenings or anything. For example, right? Here's a good example of that. Yeah, District 9.
District 9. No.
Yeah, the one with the it's like a play on the apartheid kind of regime in South Africa.
Right.
Only instead of blacks and whites, it's aliens have come down and they're refugees from some planet somewhere. No one's quite sure, but they come down and they start filling up. So you get aliens in townships rather than, as it used to be, segregated with colours. It's just aliens. But that became quite a big film, yeah? That essentially came from a small independent thing that was out on the net called Alive in Joburg.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember watching it. I was blown away by what I was seeing. Quite short, but Peter Jackson saw it and picked up on it, and rest is history, right?
There you go.
You got a big movie.
The means for distribution are in the hands of everybody now. Like, you can start off lo-fi, but just keep making what you're making. Just keep plugging away, and just hone your craft, and you can still get it out there. But
oh yeah.
But the genie's out of the bottle in terms of the big companies owning their movies and music and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
People are going to share it. They can't rein it back in again. They've got to learn to evolve or die, as Eddie Bravo would say. They've got to figure out another way to make their money, another revenue stream.
Yeah, evolution.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just constant change.
So it's only those that can adapt that survive.
That's it. It happens time and time again. Like, it's just the same as VHS coming in and everyone saying it would ruin cinema and all this stuff, but it never did. Yeah. It just added another string to the bow.
Exactly.
But yeah, anyway, we're talking about Napster, and this next band featured heavily in that Napster case.
Yeah, these guys got really precious about it, but nonetheless, they still rocked. They kind of are nowadays, although a lot of the short when they cut their hair and started to get a bit poppy, that was one thing. But these guys got me into metal. I mean, I suppose if I'm to admit, Guns N' Roses, the Appetite for Destruction.
Yes.
It was probably the first thing that got me back into metal after I'd been a kid and, Iron Maiden and Zeppelin and things like that. But we listened to that album and I enjoyed it. And then from then on, it just sort of spiraled, got heavier and heavier and heavier. But Metallica, what can you say?
It was a gateway. It was a bit of a gateway drug for me into metal too. I was into Metallica. Yeah. It took me a while to get into it. I think I might have been talking to Jason G about this when he was on. I used to just think that metal, I don't know, I looked at the fans or something and thought, nah, it's not my scene or whatever. But then then I got into it. Metallica and Anthrax were my two probably biggest ones. And of course I was into Gunners. Like Appetite for Destruction is still one of my favourite. You know how you get those albums that are just complete albums?
Yes.
That's one of them for sure.
Yeah. And this next track's off one of those as well. And I mean, with this the interplay with the harmonies of the guitar are beautiful.
Oh, genius!
All the way through. So whether you've got the nice sort of soft bit at the beginning or the heavier bits, anything with harmonies and major and minor chords.
Yes.
That's my thing.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you know a bit about music anyway, like the actual
I
technical.
used to be a kind of musician, I suppose you could call it.
What did you
I
play?
was a drummer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Obviously one thing that I can't do anymore. But yeah, I was a drummer, and I was just getting into playing the guitar, but mainly, just rhythm, and developing my voice, but mainly drums. I think I was in several bands, but Steve will remember one in particular, The Fiends.
The Fiends.
The Fiends.
That's an awesome
That's right.
name for a band.
Oh yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, they even had their own comic. Oh yeah, particularly disturbed group of individuals they were. Made Goa look like schoolboys.
They're just mucking around.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is our number 7 track anyway, with a bit of Metallica and Justice for All.
Oh.
Here we go. You're with Iestyn on Fizz Button Radio, DannyPin.net.
Roll up, come see the Fizz Buddies. They're fizzy, no?
Metallica there with And Justice for All. That was our number 7 song with Iestyn, who's joining us live from Wales on DannyPin.net. Yeah, they did have an interesting little stoush there with Napster, and pretty much helped close it down.
Yeah.
I was watching that doco. Actually, Lars turned up with boxes full of all the people who were signed up to Napster of their names, or printed out and put in boxes. And when he got there, he didn't realise that it was like just a couple of college kids, and he was expecting executives and all this kind of people. So I think it was a bit of an eye-opener. Yeah. It didn't stop him, but
of course not.
Yeah, but
tenacious little elf, isn't he?
Yeah, elf. Yeah, his after the Black Album, I think I didn't really follow him that closely after that.
Neither did I. No, it all started going a little. I'm not sure, like things like Reloaded or Loaded or something like that.
Yeah.
That whole period, I missed, and frankly wasn't really a fan of.
I think Jason G still followed him, and he played a song on here from one of the albums which I quite liked, but I just didn't really sort of invest any time in it. I don't know. So there probably was some good stuff on there, but also the Black Album was such a high point that it's hard to top. Like Gunners probably did that too. It just happened to be their debut album.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you ask me, their best album musically is And Justice for All.
Right.
But they kind of fizzed up. The last couple of records though have been pretty good because they've gotten back to their thrash, right? Like Saint Anger, wasn't that the one where they got right back into it again?
Oh yeah.
And they made a video in San Quentin, yeah.
Oh right. In San Quentin, did you say?
Yeah, looked pretty cool too.
Yeah, cool.
Not being in prison, just
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they went Johnny Cash and went into San Quentin.
An album I used to listen to all the time when I delivered pizzas. I used to have a job delivering pizzas, and I taped all these albums onto off vinyl onto my cassette, so I could play them in the car. And one of them was that Johnny Cash album.
That
was
fun.
That was my grandpa. It was my grandpa's album, and yeah, that's when I really started getting into Johnny Cash. Actually, his personality just shone through particularly on that album. The way he spoke to the prisoners and stuff, and they just loved him.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he could communicate with them on a human level.
I think by that, I'm not sure if it was by that time whether he'd actually spent any time inside. He'd done a few nights in jail, or whether I know he did a small stint, didn't he?
Yeah, he said.
But I think it was after San Quentin, wasn't it?
It might have been,
or at least
Because in the recording, he said, I got arrested one time for picking flowers, but it just so happened that he was in someone's yard and he was drunk and carrying on like a lunatic. But I think it was only sort of a week or something. It wasn't like a hardened criminal or anything.
Oh, no. But I mean, he was a storyteller, right?
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of country is, but you know, I mean, he had even a Folsom Prison Blues as well, and the Folsom Prison Blues, is it?
I hear that train a coming. It's rolling round the bend. Yeah. He had another song, San Quentin. I hate every inch of you.
Yeah.
And all the prisoners just cheered at that point and loved it.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
He had a little good dig at the warden, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he might have. Yeah, pretty cheeky.
Surprised nowadays you get a writer, probably. Who knows?
Yeah, and some of his act was kind of like stand-up.
Yeah.
Just the way he conducted himself. But that's the storyteller element to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look for that Dylan song, if you find him on doing the town hall thing, you'll see that sounds almost stand-up-y. Because he delivers the lines and waits and gets an applause and a laughter, you know. So he waits, delivers the lines, waits, then carries on with the song.
Right. It's funny because when you watch him now, he doesn't say a word. Well, the last few times I've seen him, he'll just come out, play the song, applause, play the song. I don't think he said a single word. I just asked Steve if there was any recordings of the Fiends, and he said he thinks there might be some old tapes somewhere.
Oh yeah, it'll only be on cassette. Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
It's official.
It's official.
No, the Fiends were I think we were talking during the record, but yeah, the Fiends were mine and Steve's way of learning to play. So we went through and we eventually made our way out to actually being able to play full tunes. Our favourite was Sepultura, Troops of Doom.
They're getting nice
to play unless you're the drummer. It's just with all death metal and thrash, and it's quite a fitness regime. But we were the Fiends. We went simple. We weren't heavy.
The Fiends. I love that name.
Isn't it? It's just a great word. I like
yeah,
that
no.
word. Just imagine it, from some old movie.
Yeah.
You fiend!
How dare you, fiend?
Yeah.
But this next band we've got here, Iestyn, I'm pretty sure it's the first time we've heard them, and that sort of strikes me as very interesting because especially anyone who was sort of a teenager or a kid in the early 90s, very much a part of our formative years, and I speak, of course, of Nirvana. And actually, this might be the 20th year anniversary of Kurt's death. I'm pretty sure he left us in 1994.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah. That was April, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not far off exactly 20 years.
I remember the day. Glum day.
Yeah.
All around.
I can remember when, I forget what they call it, but when you take champagne and cocaine, it's like a lethal sort of mix. And I think it was when he escaped. I think they were in Rome and he escaped from the rehab place and that. And one of my friends said, "What's up with Kurt Cobain? Has he killed himself yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, what? That's an odd thing to say." And then a couple of weeks later, or however long later, he was gone. And I can remember because I was in my last year of high school actually, so I would have been 18 or about 18, nearly 18, and I was in music class, oddly enough, and the word just kind of circulated around all my mates, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, you expected him, you half expected him to go, right? And maybe with an overdose or something like that. But, I mean, yeah, now thinking about it, it was on the cards, him and his gun thing, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't expect him to put his brains out.
Yeah, that's a big way to go. That's
a statement, right?
Yeah, that's not mucking around.
No.
Well, speaking of conspiracy theories, what do you think about the whole he was murdered angle?
Right. The Courtney Love.
Yeah.
I think it was documentary on that as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, Kurt and Courtney, which that angle was played up a lot, and then I watched it and realised that it was only a small part of it. But the bloke in it who claimed he was offered money,
Yes.
L someone, I can't remember his name. But anyway, he was found dead not long after.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's true, but it is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, there was always that thing. But I mean, when people die, there's always the tendency to think, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
No, they weren't that bad. You know, why would he have done this with
Yeah.
you know?
It's a bit like the Elvis is alive
It's
story.
It's another form of grieving in a way, I think.
Denial. It's just a stage
Yeah.
of grieving, isn't it? Denial.
Yeah, you're on. Bang on, yeah. You had a pretty poignant one in a music class. I was just at home, and I was during a rough part of my life where I had some problems. I wasn't feeling well, let's put it that way. And hearing that was even worse. So that was a bad day. Yeah, I had my issues at the time, and let's just say they were similar to Kurt's, right? But yeah, that was poignant. I chose a reason why I chose this song was this. Believe it or not, I mean, it was the first song I heard from them, and it was what got me into them. But I think it wasn't released on any major LP until Incesticide, which was after.
I really liked Incesticide.
Oh, it's a great album. I'd heard this track, and that was what got me into it, and that was before Teen Spirit. I think it happened somewhere in between Bleach and Teen Spirit, but yeah, they played in Newport. Oh, interesting story. Most people remember that kind of. I think it was red and green or red and black, torn sweater he used to wear a lot.
Yeah.
Well, he got that from a gig he played in Newport here.
Oh, wow.
In Wales, yeah, from a punk. He saw a punk on the street, apparently, with that sweater, walked up to him, bought it off him.
Oh, that's an interesting bit of trivia. And I think you're maybe the second person who has requested a live song. So
the reason why I've gone for this is because I was there.
Oh, wow.
I was at this gig, yeah. This was Reading, 92. Yeah, and it's also to a lot of people, because they played Newport twice before that, so I'm lucky I got to see them. He was due to play in Cardiff on March, and of course he died in the April. This was before they had, I forget his name, the second guitarist.
Oh, Pat Smear?
Yeah, Pat Smear, that's right, yeah.
It's an interesting name, isn't it?
Isn't it just? But they had the detractors. People used to say they were shit live. Now I'm sure he had his lazy nights, right?
Yeah.
But this is just one guitar, one bass, and of course Dave Grohl, who's enough to fill up anything.
Yeah.
Sound is.
He rounded their sound out. Like when you've got a 3-piece, you've either got to have a bassist that frames things. So if you're going to go on a solo, if you're the guitarist and you're doing a solo, you need something to frame the sound so it sort of fills it out. But yeah, Grohl was like another, like him and Novoselic just worked so well together. Novoselic was pretty simple, basic sort of stuff.
Yeah, and he just bounced with the bare feet.
And Dave Grohl's just a genius all-rounder. But another thing, Dave Grohl...
His style was, I had a similar drumming style as him.
Right.
The pounding style, you know?
Yeah.
More like Animal.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that, Animal from the Muppets.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have thought that Dave Grohl would make something of himself like that? Like, you'd think once Kurt's gone, you're gone. But he emerged as this phoenix of just multi-talent.
Oh, wow, yeah. As soon as the Foo Fighters, as soon as that came out, I was, when I first heard that he was doing something, I was a little skeptical. Thought, oh no.
I was thinking the same too.
Please don't ruin it. Please don't ruin it. Chris didn't come off so well though, did he?
No, he didn't. I think he had a band for a while, but I can't even remember. And then he just he lives on a farm now, I think, and he's a little bit of a political activist. I saw another doco, but there was a classic albums series that had that they covered Nevermind, and they showed the kid from the front cover.
Yeah, I think I've seen a photo of him in the same pose, just without the penis.
Right. Here we go. Anyway, this is a real treat. Iestyn was at this concert, so we're going to play it now from Reading, 1992. This is Aneurysm by Nirvana.
Good thoughts and bad thoughts. Hopefully they win. The good thoughts win. For me, I always have both. I have like the thing I believe, the good thing. That's the thing I believe. And then there's this thing. And I don't believe it, but it is there. It's always this thing and then this thing. It's become a category in my brain that I call, of course, but maybe. I'll give you an example. Okay, like of course, children who have nut allergies need to be protected. Of course. We have to segregate their food from nuts, have their medication available at all times, and anybody who manufactures or serves food needs to be aware of deadly nut allergies. Of course. But maybe, if touching a nut kills you, you're supposed to die. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. I have a nephew who has that. I'd be devastated if something happened to him. But maybe, if we all just do this for 1 year, we're done with nut allergies forever.
Louis C.K. there, a bit of a treat for the punters out there. Requested by Iestyn. I thought I might just find a nice little spot to put that in.
Oh, that's a great one, though.
Yeah. He's someone, I can't believe he has a new hour every year. He pre-books all his dates without any new material and just books it and then goes, right, I better do my material. He's just so disciplined.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, Joe Rogan was talking about him on the 500. He was talking about how sort of a hard worker he is. I'd already done my pick, and he just started talking about that very bit, and I was just, please don't show it, please don't show it, please don't show it. Luckily he did. But yeah, anyway, the aneurysm there. That day in Reading Festival, I took a heroic dose of mushrooms. I brought them up from the Welsh hills to share with myself, my cousin, and his friend, and they took like 100 each, and I was left with 300 and something, and I couldn't bear to throw them away, so I ate them all and sunk them down with a lot of beer, hope for the best.
Oh, what a golden era looking back on it.
Definitely.
I think it was Leon was just saying he was 4 in 1992.
No. Really?
It does make you feel old.
Yeah. No, what was I? I must have been, what was I? Yeah, no, I'd have been 17 or 18, yeah.
Well, it's hard to think now that people who are 18 were born in 1996.
Yeah.
That feels like sort of 10 years ago.
Yeah. I've got a couple of employees, PAs, and we've got a lot in common. Most of us, the ones that they smoke as well, so I mean, got that in common with anyone who does, right? She's 21, the main one, and she's a great girl. She's training to be a nurse as well. But every time I come up with like a musical reference, she's got no clue because of that gap,
That gets me though, because I like stuff that was made well before I was born.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everyone knows who Shakespeare is. Like no one says, "Oh, Shakespeare, that was a bit before my time." Sorry, no, I never heard of that. You never hear that.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, the generation gap.
Yeah, I mean, she, for example, she'd heard of Nirvana, but could she name a track? No. I sort of they're kind of those one of those big bands that you would the same way as you go back to well I don't know, you can't really compare them to anything else, but the big bands of the generations. I mean, we got Hendrix and people like that. I was brought up listening to that, and I've listened to that since I got into music. I went backwards.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I listened to what was around, but I like to get to the root of it. The root, the whole sort of sound.
Well, I'm still listening back to new stuff. For me is stuff that I haven't heard from the 60s yet, and I still haven't.
Yeah.
I'm still not finished with the 60s and 70s, and I'll probably catch up with today's music in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
I just have a bit more digging to do yet.
Yeah, this is not. I personally haven't found that much good around today. There are those, obviously. There are the occasionals, and some of them are the old school. I mean, there's too much of what used to be called R&B, kind of. Well, no. I think I put that wrong. Now everything's gone dancey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have.
I don't know. It just seems to have stagnated for me. I don't know. But there are there is a lot of good stuff out there, no doubt. But it just seems that everyone's, as usual with pop, whatever, anything popular, they're just concentrating on crap as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of rubbish out there, man.
Yeah. Or if it is good, it's just derivative of stuff that was already good.
Yeah.
Well, there's always that argument that Shakespeare did every variation of story that there is.
Yeah.
But he would have based that on someone that Aesop or someone that came before him. Everything old's new again. It's got to be based on something.
Oh yeah, everything seems to recycle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
But
it seems to be the universe is doing the same.
That's it. Yeah, it's just the natural law of things, the order of things.
Yeah.
This next band, I've heard of the name. It's another one I've heard the name, but I'm not overly familiar with their music.
Yes, right. Monster Magnet. Absolutely brilliant.
I love the name. I love the name of the band.
Yeah. Now again, they went and got a little too mainstreamy, if you want to call it that, or maybe just sort of rocky. But when they started, these first few albums were just brilliant, and they did exactly what we were talking about. That they went from what we've got now to back, and they went back to full on sort of psychedelia and fuzz.
Oh yeah,
and great drumming, lots of rolls, and just my life took a change at a certain time, and again, it was a psychedelic that kind of changed my outlook. And about that time, I one thing I haven't put in here is any death metal. Sorry, Stan, you didn't do it for me. So yeah, Steve's not happy either when he saw the list.
We've got Steve in the background, everyone, from Fiend's fame. So he's getting it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I couldn't tweet and listen at the same time.
Yeah, there you go.
He couldn't
tweet and listen at the same time.
Right. Oh, it's awesome having him there.
Yeah.
It's like having two guests.
Yeah. No, it's always good. I'm just lucky to have Steve around, but what, Steve, how long have we known each other? 3? It's got to be 3 years old at least. Yeah. I can't remember not knowing Steve, so.
Wow.
Yeah. Just, everyone's got a friend like that.
Yeah, old mate from way back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we all need.
Yeah. But anyway, this album is absolutely brilliant. As far as I'm concerned, seminal. It's one of those albums that we were talking about before, when you get a complete album, yeah?
Yeah.
This was one of those. Stan's played one of the tracks off. He's tweeted it, Nazi, and that's brilliant. But,
yes.
This is the opener, and personally, at the time when we were listening to this, I sort of started to turn light, let's say. I was dark at that time.
All right.
And I started to turn lighter thanks to a psychedelic experience. And this album, I found it in a Spillers Records, which was like the oldest sort of record shop in Cardiff. And I found this record, and if anyone wants to look at the cover, they'll understand why I liked it at the time. It's just psychedelic all around. Check out the cover if anyone goes to YouTube or whatever, you'll see it. You'll see the symbols. You'll see why I picked it up. That night, listening to this, we were all in the van, all smoked up. The whole thing, almost like a trip, a religious experience. Yeah, no one said a word. They just passed around and listened. No, great one. So this is another one that, something that I listen to regularly, but in terms of the whole album, it's something that should be enjoyed.
What's the album title again?
While intoxicated.
Pardon?
It's self-titled Monster Magnet.
Right.
The first one, actually, this one now, is Spine of God. And this first track, Pill Shovel.
All right, here we go. We're getting a bit late here in Australia, but we've got to make up for lost time. You're on DannyPin.net with Iestyn and Steve in the background. Shout out to Steve, and here we go.
Fizz Button Radio with Danny Pin.
Monster Magnet there with Pill Shovel from the album Monster Magnet. That's 25 past midnight in Australia, or in Sydney anyway. But that's all right because I'm just getting warmed up, so I'm loving it. We've had a very interesting show tonight, going off air and everything. So, but that's all right. That's kind of like when the thing you worry about the most happens and you realise it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be. I reckon it would be.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like what I hear comedians say, like bombing was the best thing that ever happened to them because they realised if that's the worst, then I can handle that. And then they really grow as comedians. Not that I've ever tried it, but yeah.
Definitely. The worst is never as bad as you think it's going to be, no?
Yeah, that's right.
Look, I mean, if you'd have told me, 15 years ago that you were going to be in a wheelchair and in the, position I am now, then I'd have probably said, no, shoot me. I could not live like that. But, you deal with things, right?
Yeah. Well, you're a perfect
you
example. So you've come through, and it's like what we were saying before, you evolve, or you adapt, rather. Or I suppose it's the same. Yeah.
It's though, I mean, in evolution, they say it's those species that adapt for those that survive.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a glowing example of that.
I don't know about glowing. An example. Certainly not sure about glowing, my son.
Well, I think you are. So.
Well, thank you very much.
I don't know how I would cope, but like you say, if you explained that to a younger you wouldn't have known either. So I'm sure through our trials and tribulations, we learn about ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I've learned a lot more about myself than I probably maybe ever would have. I've learned to deal with it a lot more than I ever thought I could. Like I said, I'm a glass half full kind of person.
Yeah.
Steve's the opposite, but that keeps me grounded, right? Steve's well, Steve's not glass half empty, Steve's glass totally empty.
Wow.
Might get a bit of water if you're lucky. So that keeps me grounded. Yeah.
Well, that's the yin and yang, You need that.
Yeah. If we were both the same, I don't think we'd have remained friends so long.
Yeah.
It's the yin and yang, you're right, yeah.
You expect the worst, and then when good things happen, praise and happy.
Yeah, that's it. Good things happen when expectations cease, or something like that. The Buddhists say.
Yeah.
So expect the worst, and everything's a bonus. We probably like the title of this next one. Hell is round the corner.
So this goes back. This is more. I'm not sure how many will have heard of Tricky or that genre, but it's around about the mid '90s. It was a heroin chic, all that kind of thing.
Portishead type of stuff.
Portishead, exactly. They were all from the same place. Yeah, they're all from Bristol.
Ah, Bristol,
Which is
right.
just 40 minutes up the road.
Wow.
So,
So that's just over the border into England. Is
yeah,
this,
there's the only part where there's an actual bridge to cross water into, you know?
So
Into
what separates you from England? It is a river?
At the bottom part of Wales is just the Severn Straits. It's
Right.
a river, yeah. An estuary, basically, with a great big huge bridge on it, which is sort of, you get landmarks, right, in places that are famous, like the Golden Gate Bridge and things like that. When surprisingly, it's not really very big. It's not a big bridge. The Severn Bridge is probably twice, 3 times the size of the thing.
Wow.
In terms of length, at least. It's just strange how some certain things stick in your mind, I guess. Things like that
Yeah.
would have come from movies and culture, general culture, right?
Well, Sydney Harbour Bridge, I cross that every day.
That's a whopper. It's a big.
It's not. I guess it's not that long,
It's tall,
but
though,
it's
right?
but it's tall. Yeah, it is a big monument, but in
Yeah.
terms of length, you wouldn't say it was big that way.
Yeah.
But what's the population of Wales? Because I'm surprised you have actually Waterboxer was making some memes with rugby related stuff, but I'm surprised you have such a successful rugby team.
Yeah, they did well a few years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan, but yeah, I guess we're just a rugby nation, aren't we?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? It came from England, didn't it?
Yeah. The rugby school, I think. Rugby college.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. And they quickly picked up here, but that's always been originally it was a England-Wales thing, you know. But yeah, you're right about sort of the UK in general. Anyway, if you look at it on the map, it's this tiny little, seems like an island really in comparison with everything else. Somehow it ran most of the world at some point.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe the amount of accents you get from almost from one town to another. Whereas in Australia, you don't get a lot of variation. Maybe about the words we use or the odd word here and there, but not like over there.
Just little inflections, but yeah, you're right. There's even, I mean, you don't just get a southern accent. You get variations on southern accents.
Yeah.
Like exactly, Bristol's 40 minutes up the road, but the accent's completely different.
What? Do you reckon it's because back in the day people they just stuck with their village and didn't move around that much, or just I suppose the dense population too?
Yeah, I mean you got to remember you've got your sort of the way it built up. You've got your Celts who are kind of originals, but no one at the end of the day in Britain or England, let's say, definitely is a mongrel nation, because at the end of the day they came from a mix of fighting tribes, and you've got the French side, you've got the Normans, the Vikings, you've got again the Celts on our side, that's with Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and then the English who are not really, no one's really English if you look back.
Well, you go back to Rome, I suppose, eventually.
But yeah, they were here. They didn't do too well in Wales, though. We gave them a hard time. Apparently.
You fought them all off.
Yeah, Hellions, apparently. Then they managed to break a good part of us in the end, but I think we were part of the rebellion that kicked them out. You've heard of Hadrian's Wall?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that was as far north as they would go.
Right.
Because as far as they were concerned, if the Welsh were bad, the Scots were worse.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'd like to mess with them, even now. Definitely.
No, that's right.
I've seen Trainspotting.
You'll know where I was coming from.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, this was the Bristol sound, the Bristol scene. A trip hop, you'd call it, wouldn't you? Trip hop?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Very atmospheric.
If you heard Watershead, you'll get the sound. And Massive Attack, of course. How can we not mention
Oh,
those?
yeah. Very atmospheric and moody.
Definitely. It's this trick hell is around the corner.
Here we go.
Living out a scout, if you believe or deceive, common sense says shit.
Fizz Button Radio with Danny Pin.
Tricky, and that was number 4 on Iestyn's playlist. And the next song we've got on, I got into Alice in Chains a bit during the grunge days, like Man in the Box.
Story then.
Yeah, here's another one, definitely.
Well, his was a pretty sad one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He kind of petered out, and he I don't think he was found for a fortnight, was it, Steve? Lane Staney.
Oh yeah, they got him all rotten.
Yeah, by the time they found him, he'd rotten. I think it was drugged himself to death, basically. Locked up and alone, and not found for a while.
Oh, who found him? Do you know, or was it just the
I'm
old?
not sure. No, I wouldn't like to say. I think it was one of the, or at least one of his original crew, but I wouldn't like to say. Not entirely sure.
Not the best way to go.
Certainly not the dash. No, not the best way to be found either.
No. But Jay God was saying that they kept on without him. Didn't they have a different singer?
Yeah, they carried on after that.
Do you reckon it was a successful transition?
I didn't enjoy him as much. Most of what made up them was, the drummer had his style was great. Lots of China use and things like that. China cymbal. With him is Jerry Cantrell, right? The guitarist.
Yeah.
Him and Lane Staney, they made it, and their harmonies were awesome. In this song in particular, you can hear them.
They had a real dark harmony.
Yeah.
The
They're always
intervals.
down tuned.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The harmonies are always dark. Yeah.
Tune the E down to a D or something like that. One of those tunings and.
Yeah, and there's an album, or was it an EP? No, it was a long EP. Sat. Some good songs on there because there's a lot of acoustic stuff. Like you Got Me Wrong. That's a great one. There's some nice harmonies on there, vocal harmonies on that one.
Yeah.
I was torn between putting that or this one, but I figured this.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a classic. Well, this is our number 3. So we're getting there.
We are.
Yeah. Here we go, Alice in Chains with Wood. You're with Iestyn on Fizz Button Radio, DannyPin.net live.
Roll up, come see the Fizz Buddies. They're fizzy, no?
Alice in Chains there with Wood, and that went down well with Adam Holcroft, who I haven't given a shout out to yet, and Jason G, who is right into that sort of stuff. So that hit home with those blokes.
2 rock stars.
Yes, and they are rock stars because they're still up at this hour of the night. So I'm glad they're in for the long haul. And also look up on iTunes The Dojo of Powerful Aging. That is Adam's. He's just released episode 2 with Rod Hunt. So check that out on iTunes. Yeah, definitely have some dedicated people out there to be still up. That going off air kind of put me out of whack a little bit.
There now?
It's 10 to 1 in the AM.
We talk crap. We talk crap that long. Oh, sorry, people.
This might go down as our longest episode, actually, if you add both of them together. We did 3 hours last week.
Yeah.
Number 2 is another good band that I like, who I didn't listen to the albums or anything. I just heard the hits that came out and that went around, but I liked it. But I really liked the White Stripes, by the way, but I liked how it was just a guitar and drums, a bit like the Black Keys. Like, you don't get that combo much. Like, I've played with people that way, but...
Not something who can put out the noise they can.
Yeah, to fill up the sound. Like, I've played with people that way. But you don't think, oh yeah, we'll go out and play like that. You just think this is just, we're doing it because it's necessity is the mother of invention, you know?
Yeah. No, but they pull it off live really well. But Jack, he's quite a musician. I'm not sure what the documentary was, but I caught something on TV. It was all about him. It was basically they were going around lots of places which either held memory for him or musical significance, you know?
Yeah.
But no matter what he turned his hand to, no matter what instrument it was or what type of music it was, you know, in the area he could play it and well.
Yeah.
So he's a proper musician.
Yeah, an artist.
Yeah, and if you've ever heard a lot of it, you know, he does a lot of collaborations. Another really good one is that he's in this the Dead Weather.
Oh yeah. I've heard a couple of their songs.
They put out one in particular, yeah. They put out a single or two. Cut Like a Buffalo is a great song, and that again is another female lead. Can't remember her name, unfortunately. But big props to you.
Is Meg and Jack, are they brother and sister, or I never got to the bottom of that? Or were they going out with each other, or neither?
Yeah, it always seemed very vague, didn't it?
Yeah.
And all I can tell you for sure is that it was just as vague when it came to the documentary I saw of them. So,
right. No one ever got to the bottom of it.
I'm not sure if they are brother and sister. I haven't looked it up. I just love their music.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, I got into them. I don't think it was late at all. It was quite early. I heard this tune and that was it. And this is off Elephant, which I think is their first one.
Well, Jason G's into it. He's just said that Jack White's a musical genius.
Most certainly.
For sure.
I would say. And he's great live. Absolutely brilliant live. He's the drummer on mainly, if you see them live, the Dead Weather, he's the drummer.
Oh, right, okay.
So he's switched roles.
I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but then you see him on the piano and he's amazing on that. He can turn his hand, everything I've seen him play has been good. So
I love that sort of stuff.
What Jack White doing, you know? He's good at bluegrass. I think it's one of his big influences.
This one's Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground.
Dirty song too.
Fizz Button Radio with Danny Pin.
White Stripes, Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground. Wonderful stuff. That's great. An awesome riff. And we're just talking about the film clips as well. There we go. Steve's just giving us a picture of the day. The day there.
Great day.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
So that's your view at the moment. It's a lovely day.
Yeah, that's out the back garden, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Are you in a rural area?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just sort of as it's evening out, we're on the side there, and we're surrounded by fields and things, but other things are encroaching on us, as they tend to do.
Yeah.
Like new roads.
New
roads.
The urban sprawl.
Yeah.
Tammy really liked that
But
one
we
too.
adapt, right?
That's it. That's what it comes back to. The only constant thing in life is change.
Guaranteed.
Just a quick shout out as well to Tammy. Ookie Spooky said Jack White is a master, and you're tickling her fancy with Jack White. But it's funny we're talking about the end because that's the next song. Which
certainly is, my friend.
Which I can't help but think of Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, that opening scene.
Absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah. I love the Doors full stop. I've talked to Jace G about I think I tweeted him one of my favourites, which is a very short one, but Not to Touch the Earth.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
A lot of people don't know that song.
No.
But it's a hell of a song. But you know, if you've seen the movie, you know the story about Jim Morrison and his thing with having a American spirit in him. Yeah.
Yeah, the Indian thing and all that.
Yeah. Well, it's very much that. It's very tribal sounding. It's very much kind of dance, you know, dancing around the fire in a haze. That's a good one. People should look out for that one. But this, I mean, I thought it was perfect for its position as well. Anyway, it's a hell of a song.
Well, do you want to come back after this? Some people like to sign off before the number one song, and some people like to come back and say goodbye after the song.
I'm easy, my friend.
Oh, you may as well hang around then.
I'll hang around.
Here we go. This is a beautiful song and a top song to finish off the night. Anyone who knows Apocalypse Now will certainly know this, but the spirit of Jim Morrison is running through all of our veins tonight or this morning or this afternoon or wherever you are. Fizz Button Radio worldwide on DannyPin.net. Thank you for hanging around and for refreshing your browsers and not bailing after we had that little incident. But thanks again.
Lizard King, thanks you.
Yeah, I am the Lizard King. Here we go.
This is the end.
The End by The Doors. Had a few tweets going on about that, so.
Yeah, I think he got in trouble in the show, didn't he, for actually fully saying the lyric about mother.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mother, I want to. Yeah.
I remember, Light My Fire. He was on not Ed Sullivan. Was it Ed Sullivan? I don't know. But they didn't want him to say, girl, we couldn't get much higher.
Yeah.
And the execs are going, we want you to say, girl, it couldn't get much better. And
Nirvana did something like that on The Word. Or on a show, I think it was The Word. They were on a show either way. And they were expecting something reasonably mild because of the type of audience they had. And they came out with, what was it, Steve? Was it Radio Friendly Unit Shifter? I'm not sure. I've got this all wrong. Either way, they came out with a loud, fast, angry song. Instead of the TV friendly one.
I remember one TV appearance Kurt did, and it was one of those shows where the vocalist is live, but they're playing to a backing track because it's too hard to mic up a band quickly and get them in and out of the studio. So they just have a backing track with the live vocals. And he was playing the guitar, but he had an open palm on the strings and just his hand moving up and down the neck. So it was just obvious that he wasn't playing.
Was that a British one?
It was, yeah.
Top of the Pops.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like it.
When he lowered his voice about
broad drums, kill your friends. It's just so obvious. Yeah. Another shout out to Cleo, Lady J, Jason G, Dookie Spooky, Adam Holcroft for hanging on in there throughout this.
Yeah, massive. All of you both. All of you.
Nice big show. I think it might be our biggest ever, longest ever anyway. But so we've had a few ups and downs.
Who isn't listening, but maybe will listen at some point.
Yeah.
I stand you.
But thanks for being on, Iestyn. We'll have to get you on again once I get through all my guests and.
Oh, that's been great, man.
Yeah, I have you on Pinpoint as well, just to have a discussion. Cause
I've had a bit of a tummy upset, but it's been good, man.
Oh, I hope you're going all right.
Yeah, no, it's all right. All good, man.
Yeah. Well, I've got plans to have a show where instead of one person with 10 songs, I'll have 10 people with a song each, and I go from guest to guest around the world. So, everyone gets in contact with me with their one song, and I just cross from guest to guest.
Maybe I'll get my dose of heavy and then.
Yeah. So that way I can involve everybody, and you don't have to wait for your turn, sort of thing. And
Yeah.
It's just something I'm throwing around at the moment. I was talking to Ads about it actually. Or another one where I just have a bank of songs and you just call up and ask for one of those songs. But
Excellent plan.
thanks for coming on. And also to Steve, if you're still around in the background.
And Steve, shout out.
Yay, shout out to everyone.
Call him on a win. Down with his tablet. It's just put a scope on a rifle and looking down at his tablet.
Oh, I want a photo of that. That's
He's looking at
excellent.
Pictures of Jason. Stop it.
Put the scope on a rifle.
Jace, man, run.
Well, thanks for coming on. I always have trouble finishing these things off, so I'll just...
Sorry, man, I probably haven't made your job easier.
No, that's all right. I love talking, especially when it's someone interesting like yourself. So maybe we'll do a pinpoint episode one day where we just talk.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, that's Iestyn. He's been great. You can follow him at Iestyboy on Twitter. We'll catch you next time, Iestyn.
See you later.
Fizz Button Radio with Danny Pin.